So the start of the session is going to be based around the 90-90 position. So if you set yourself up and then just put your hands behind you just to give yourself some support, and then you're just going to do 6 reps going from left to right. So try and get that knee dropping down to the heel of the opposite foot. So nice and easy for 6 reps. Then once you've done that, just put your hands out in front of you just to give yourself a counterbalance, and then you're going to do another 6 reps, just a little bit more active this time, going from left to right. Try and keep yourself as tall as you can through your torso, so try and push your chest up all the way through. So once you've done 6 reps of that, you're going to carry on with the 90-90 exchanges, but this time we're going to add an end range strength movement. So that's going to entail lifting up the rear leg, extending and rotating the leg round in front of you and then back into your start position. So change over in between each rep and always work the rear leg. So lots of control here, and try and make sure that your torso is staying relatively in the same position throughout. So you're going to do 6 reps, always working that rear leg. If you need to, you can put your hands down on the ground to give yourself some support, and if it's feeling uncomfortable around your knees, hips or spine, then you can sit yourself on a cushion just to kind of elevate that position. So once you've done your 6 reps, you're going to carry on with the 90-90 exchanges. We're now going to move to the front leg extending out in front of us. So this is slightly tougher, so put the hands down to start with and see if you can extend that leg out in front of you. Keep changing from side to side and always work the front leg through that end range strength movement. If you're struggling to get the leg out in front of you, then just bring it slightly in towards the kind of midline of your body, and that should hopefully make it a touch easier. So again, lots of control. Try not to swing the leg out in front of you and just work with what you can. So once you've done your 6 reps, you've got one more thing to do from your 90-90 exchanges. So this time you're going to pitch up on the front leg and extend the hips through, and then you're going to eccentrically load that front leg, so as slow as you can to go back down to your start position. You'll carry on changing over from side to side, but every time you pitch up, you're going to try and control your weight down to the ground as slowly as you can. So chest up high, slowly sink down onto that front leg, and then change over to the other side. So it's eccentrically loading external rotation of the front hip. So you're going to do 6 reps on both sides. So once you've done your 6 reps, you can get yourself out of your 90-90 position and then just go into your rest position. So just sitting back onto your heels, having a bit of a move around, and then you can exchange from that position, just going through and extending your hips out. So next you're going to set yourself up in a half kneeling position. So here it's going to be really important throughout that you keep your hips tucked underneath you. So as a guide, just put your hands on the side of your hips and just make sure that they're going to stay tucked underneath you all the way through. You're then going to eccentrically load the hip by extending forward and trying to weight bear through the front part of that hip for 5 seconds. Once you've done that, you're then going to extend the rear knee and hold that position for 5 seconds. So an isometric hold, and then slowly get back out and restart again. So tucking the hips, 5 seconds eccentrically loading forward on that front hip, and and then hand down to support, and then extend the rear leg. Now throughout this, it's really important to not let your lower back go into extension. So that's why we're going to try and keep the hips tucked underneath all the way through to emphasize the anterior part of that hip. So when you extend the knee here, only extend it if you know you can keep your back in a good position. So you're going to do this for 5 reps. So once you've done 5 reps on one side, you're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So 5 seconds eccentrically loading the anterior part of your hip, 5 seconds of an isometric hold, and then you do those 2 things 5 times. So once you've done your 5 reps, just get yourself in a seated straddle position and have a bit of a rest. So next we're going to do a hamstring stretch with a few different components to it. So I'll talk you through as it happens. But you're going to set yourself up in a seated hamstring stretch position. And if you need to, you can sit yourself up on a pillow, do whatever you need to with the opposite leg to get comfortable, and then you're going to lean into that hamstring stretch. You're going to go straight into a 3D active stretch. So you're going to push and pull front to back with your torso for 6 reps. You're then going to rotate your foot left to right for 6 reps. And then finally on this part, you're then going to add a rotation of your torso left to right for 6 reps. As soon as you've done that, we're going to go straight into an active PNF of that leg. So in that end range position, you're going to set up to push down into the ground for 6 seconds. Ready and go. So push that foot down into the ground as hard as you can, maintaining a good position. Then from there, you're going to roll onto your back and actively pull that leg towards your torso, and at the same time push the opposite leg away from you to open up your hips. As soon as that's done for 6 seconds, you go straight back into your 3D active stretch. So push and pull forward and backwards 6 times, and then your foot's going to go from left to right, so rotating your leg inside the hip joint 6 times, and then you're going to rotate your torso left to right 6 times. And when you've done that, you're going to set up to do your active PNF in the same way as before. So end range position, get yourself ready, and then push down into the ground for 6 seconds, go. So pushing down 6 seconds, squeezing down into the ground, and then lifting the leg up, actively pulling it towards your torso as you lie back and push the opposite leg the other way. 6 seconds, last set, go straight back into that 3D active stretch. So push and pull forward and backwards 6 times. Then rotate the leg from left to right 6 times. Now rotate the torso left to right 6 times, all the way through in that end range position, and then get yourself set up to go into the last set of your active PNF. So brace hard, push the heel down into the ground. So keep pushing, 6 seconds down, 6 seconds lifting up and rolling back, so actively pulling that leg towards your torso, push the other leg the other way, and then you can relax from there. And now set up to go on the other side. Okay, so set yourself up on the other side and just find that end range, make sure you're comfortable. And then when you're there, you're going to actively pull and push front to back 6 times. Then going to turn the foot from left to right 6 times. Trying to rotate the leg inside the hip joint. You're then going to rotate your torso from left to right 6 times. Once you've done that, you're going to set yourself up for your active PNF. So from here, leaning into that position, drive down into the ground 6 seconds. And now roll into your back, actively pull it towards your torso and push the opposite leg the other way, 6 seconds. Once you're done, immediately set yourself up to go straight into your 3D active stretch. So push and pull, front to back 6 times. And then the foot or the leg going from left to right 6 times. Rotate the torso left to right 6 times, making sure you're in that end range position. And then set yourself up for your active PNF. So leaning into your end range, push the foot down into the ground 6 seconds. Then active range, so lifting the leg up towards your torso, push the opposite leg. And then last set, straight into your push and pull front to back. And then the foot going from side to side 6 times. And then your torso rotating 6 times. Okay, active PNF, pushing the foot down into the ground and go. Actively lift, so pull that leg towards you, push the opposite leg, 6 seconds, and then rest. And then from here you can just go straight into your resting position, so you're exchanging from sitting back onto your heels and extending your hips forward. Okay, so last couple of exercises we're going to do in a standing position. So we're going to work on our hip extension first, and to do this you're going to stand on one leg and you're going to keep your knee completely locked, and we're going to try and emphasize the front of the hip, trying to get all the movement. So if you have your hands on your hip, and then from here you're going to reach out the other leg and lean back and try and open up the front of that hip without your knee bending. So here you don't want to feel like you're driving too much through your lower back or creating movement by leaning your head back. You're trying to open up the front of your hips. So you want to get your hips tilting back. So if you use your fingers and your thumb to try and guide your pelvis to have a posterior tilt, so it should be pointing backwards. So just reach the foot out in front of you and have a light touch on the floor. You're going to do 10 reps, trying to extend that leg. Once you've done that, exactly the same on the other side. So stand on that leg, lock the knee out, reach in front of you and try and lean back and open up the front of your hips. So again, try not to feel like the emphasis is coming from anywhere else other than the anterior part of that hip. Once you've done your 10 reps, we're then going to move on to rotation. So you're going to do the same setup, but this time you're going to rotate the opposite leg in front of you and then all the way behind you. So to make sure that we're getting internal and external rotation of the hip, make sure that the knee stays locked and keep the foot nice and flat on the ground. So keep your big toe, little toe and heel in contact with the floor all the way through. guiding the pelvis round. Keep that leg straight and just lightly touch the floor in front of you and behind you. Once you've done your 10 reps on one side, do exactly the same on the other. So cross the T in front of you, cross the T behind you, and repeat those two movements 10 times. And once you've done your 10 reps, your session is done.